We're here with Heerden and Julian Chua. First and foremost, folks, Chris, do you want to give us an update and maybe possible negotiations, a possible fight? Hopefully?
Yeah, we currently in training camp. Me and Coach Julian, we're currently in training camp. We got a fight scheduled for end of March. A big announcement will be made by next week. Once the announcement's made, you know, there will be more press around it, but it's something pretty big. A big opportunity for myself. Winning would certainly put us right into the top 5 of the world rating, so it's a big deal, and it's going to be televised on American television, so it's going to be good. Look out, the announcement should be made next week. We're currently in training camp with Brian Costanio, the WBA 154-pounder world champion, so everything's been going good.
Any input you want to put in this, Julian?
I mean, it's just been a good camp and so far, and I'm just looking forward to seeing everything we've been doing in the time that we've had off. All be put to use and watch him shine when it's time to go. The utmost confidence he's gonna perform very, very well.
All right, guys. Moving on from that, hopefully I'll be here when you announce it. I'll be the first person to interview. Hopefully.
We're waiting for you, man.
Let's talk about the rematch. Canelo versus Triple G. Briefly, how did you guys see the first fight? Because I didn't get a chance to interview you guys right after the fight. You guys can give us just a recap of what you guys thought.
You wanna go first?
Yeah. Well, first fight, you know, Canelo could have won that fight easy, in my opinion. Canelo did better when they did trade punches, when they went toe to toe. Canelo was actually getting the better of him. But Canelo, you know, I've been sparring with Canelo before. I was in a 7-week sparring camp with Canelo before, and the way he fought right there, it's a way of the way he trains. I mean, that's the way we were sparring as well. The first half of every round, he would come out and look good and be good and dominate, and then he'll go to the ropes and he'll take off. And only for that reason, he allowed, for me, in my opinion, he allowed Triple G back in the fight. He allowed Triple G to do things, pressure, look good, fool the judges, fool a lot of people, even though he had Canelo on the rope and didn't land that much. Canelo made him miss a lot. But because of Canelo going to the ropes, he allowed Triple G back into the fight, and that's why the fight went it was a draw. And I can see why. Only for that reason. It was a good fight, but I felt like Canelo had the upper hand when he wanted to, and when they traded punches, Canelo was doing pretty awesome, and we kind of saw a Canelo Mayweather in there. I mean, he was making Triple G miss when he wanted to make him miss. They both took big shots from both each other, so I don't see a knockout either in the rematch. But I mean, the first fight, it was good. Draw, I'm happy with the draw, or you know, even Triple G maybe edging it by a round, but only because Canelo allowed him to. That's it.
Julian?
It really comes down to what you prefer to see and what you think that what you prefer to see of how you judge that fight. I personally like clean, connected punches, and I thought that Canelo landed cleaner. Okay. A draw is definitely fair. It was a close fight. People are upset by that. That's a very fair and good. People judge off that one scorecard, but yeah, that scorecard is very tilted toward Canelo. But the fight, I'm happy with the draw. I'm good with the draw, and I'm glad because we got a rematch out of it too. You know what I'm saying? As for Triple G controlling the ring, I think that ring generalship points, which is putting somebody against the ropes, I feel like that only puts you in a better position to score points because you've immobilized your target. The person is up against the ropes or a corner, and now you have a much better position than your opponent. But if you're still ineffective when you get the guy on the ropes, if you're still missing, then what are you really gaining from that, right? You gain the ring, but you're ineffective when you got the guy up against the ropes. I just don't feel like he was able to land too many things like clean on Canelo, and I feel like Canelo landed a lot cleaner shots, and so that's why I gave it to Canelo.
From a trainer and a fighter perspective, what can we expect in the rematch, gentlemen?
Okay, well, in the rematch, I'm saying this: Canelo is going to make it a way more easier than it was in the first fight, because he's not. I don't see Canelo doing the same stuff as going and set on the ropes. He knows that he can go with Triple G. He knows that he can take Triple G shot. He showed that in the first fight. And in the rematch, I got Canelo winning, maybe unanimous decision in the rematch. And people might laugh at me right now, but I see Canelo winning easier in the rematch.
So for me, okay, Triple G represents mastery. He's got he has his thing that he does, and he does it extremely well. Whereas Canelo represents versatility. He has the ability to adapt and be different guys, right? And I feel like he has figured out what he needs to do this next fight with Triple G. I feel like the first fight, he wanted to test Triple G's chin early, and that's why he was throwing crazy hard shots and bombs the first 3 rounds, and he won the first 3 rounds. But after he saw that he couldn't hurt Triple G with anything, he took those next middle rounds off, because Triple G's the last guy you want to gas out with. He didn't want to get himself like too tired, so he took those off and finished strong on the last bit of the fight, right? But when it comes to rematches, even if you look back in history, I mean, it's not every single fight, but the better boxer usually, at least recently, usually has the tendency to come out on top. You know, you have Ward and Kovalev. He, on the rematch, the better boxer figured him out. Mayweather, Maidana, Mayweather, Castillo, Duran, Leonard too. But now I'm not saying Canelo's gonna win easily. You know, to overlook a guy who has the punching power, the will, and the chin of Triple G is stupid. You never want to like overlook that guy. Anything can happen in boxing. For instance, back in the day, Jake LaMotta versus Laurent Datil. The first fight, Datil outscored him, and the second fight, at the rematch, he was beating him up almost the whole fight, and in the last round, Jake LaMotta just played possum, and he came out of nowhere and stopped him in the 15th round. You know what I'm saying? So.
Julian dropping some serious boxing history right now.
Oh, I mean, that was a fucking epic rematch. You know what I'm saying? But basically, the better boxer doesn't always win. But even like Ali, Frazier, you know, the second time they fought, you know what I'm saying? Usually, the guy with a little bit higher IQ, which I think, and that Canelo has, and the ability to adapt a little bit more, has the upper hand and usually comes out on top.
It's gonna be fireworks. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be explosive. It's gonna be good. It's not gonna be boring, but Canelo.
Julian?
Yeah, Canelo unanimous decision. I think he's just gonna spread his power out throughout the rounds. He's not gonna try to knock him out early, because I think he knows he can't knock him out early. And I think he's just gonna spread his energy out better rather than burst it in the beginning, take the middle off, and then burst it at the end. I think he's gonna, what he should do is lay out the power throughout.
I'm gonna go back and say it's Canelo split decision, not unanimous.
Unanimous for me.
Were you guys surprised how Canelo took Triple G shot?
Oh yeah.
Because some people were saying, oh, he didn't hit him flush, but he had him hitting over here in the temple.
No, he took it.
He took some shots, you know. I mean, he never got caught like square on the chin, you know, and
they're doing a pretty good roll.
Yeah, he's very, very, very good defensively. People don't give him enough credit. He has the ability to make you miss by inches, and actually that's.
Can you show us the small details? Because
I was just very surprised by Triple G's corner, because Triple G was throwing that, he's orthodox, right? Triple G.
Yeah.
He threw the jab, and it's straight right down the line, right down the line, and Canelo would just swerve out. Every time Canelo would just, yes, because he would throw that straight right like down the line.
See,
where 10 times, 15 times, and Canelo would just do the same thing, where I was surprised his corner didn't tell him to, instead of throwing it straight right down the line, you got to loop it. Throw it wide, because he missed Canelo maybe by this much.
He actually did hit him one with a looping shot.
So I was like loop it. I was like, you know, I would think that they would tell him, don't throw it straight down the line. You got to loop that shot, because he's keep running it. So instead of throwing it there, I would have thrown it there. And you know, I was just a little bit surprised by that, but I don't know.
So when it comes to like great defensive fighters, right? This is where if you're not like really paying attention, you could think that a lot of shots are landing when they're not. You know.
Can you give us examples of what we were seeing?
So for instance, right, the CompuBox score had Triple G landing like I don't know how many punches, like a lot of punches. And let me tell you, if Triple G lands that many hits on anyone, I don't care if you're like a light heavyweight, you're gonna probably go down or at least like mark up a lot. Right. Canelo he had like the normal red marks, but he wasn't bruised up or anything, and that's a testament to his defensive skills. And when I'm talking about defensive fighters, like great defensive fighters making a guy miss a little bit, the key is to make him miss by a little, because if you make a guy miss by a little bit, one, it takes less energy, right? If I slip like this, that takes more energy. Even though it's a little bit, it takes more energy than this, right? It's just a bigger movement, therefore it takes more energy. Plus, if you slip by just enough, you're in position to come back and counter or make another defensive move if you have to. You get what I'm saying? So, and because they're so small and because they're like almost grazing, they're grazing his face, people who aren't really paying attention to the details think he's getting hit with these shots when he's really not, which goes back to my point about Triple G landing that many punches on him. He didn't land that many punches. He landed, don't get me wrong, he landed, but he didn't land that many clean shots on him. He really didn't.
Are you surprised how good his defensive skills were?
Canelo?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, like Mayweather.
Definitely, yeah.
It was like,
you know, it's funny. People, if Mayweather would have done that to Triple G, everybody would have been like, oh, Mayweather this, Mayweather that. But since it was Canelo who did it, who's usually a bruiser, a puncher, or whatever you want to think that he was before, it's all of a sudden wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like Mayweather does that all the time. He lays on the ropes.
For how good his boxing skill is.
Yeah, and you know what? I was actually pretty impressed also with Triple G's defense too. He got hit cleaner, but than Canelo in my opinion. But he's still able to like block and see a lot of good shots that Canelo was throwing. You know what I'm saying?
It was a good fight.
Where does this put Canelo if he wins?
He's definitely top.
Because right now, on Ring Magazine, Golovkin's the pound for pound.
He should be #1 after this. Even on top, I mean, look, Lomachenko has had some great wins, but not like to the pedigree Canelo has. Canelo's fought some Hall of Famers, legends. You know what I'm saying?
And lastly, where does this put Triple G if he wins also?
Also #1 for me.
Yeah.
The winner of this comes out #1.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Anything you guys want to plug or say?
Just check the news in the next few days. Announcement for me will be out. Big opportunity, and it's happening.
Where can we follow you guys? Also plugging your gym, please.
At Wildcard West, and then at Julian Chua. And before he goes, real quick, I just want to say thank you to Constantino Garcia and Fight Hub TV for having us on the show. And
absolutely.
Everyone who comments and likes, whether it's good or bad, just keep watching, and I hope we entertain you guys, you know.
Chris Van Heerden 001, and that's my Instagram, and my Twitter is just @TheHeat001.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your time.
My man.